Welcome to this explainer. Let's just jump right in, because today we are exploring a really fascinating and, frankly, surprising reality about India's standing in the global artificial intelligence landscape. There's this really common narrative floating around out there that we're somehow lagging behind in the big AI race. But what if I told you that India isn't behind in AI adoption at all? In fact, the true challenge we're facing isn't about adoption. It's about something much deeper and a whole lot more strategic. We're looking at a paradox that could literally define India's position in the global AI economy for decades to come. So here's the uncomfortable question we've got to start with. It's the ultimate mythbuster. We so often just assume that because we're using the latest AI tools, our technological future is totally secure. But there is a massive difference between enthusiastically adopting a technology and actually becoming dependent on a system that someone else entirely controls. Think about it. If our businesses, our healthcare networks, and our education systems are all running on algorithms owned by external entities, are we truly secure? To really wrap our heads around the scale of this, we just need to look at the stats. According to ADP research, 41% of Indian workers use AI daily. 41%. Think about what that actually means. We're not just talking about tech companies here. AI is already deeply embedded in software development, customer service, marketing, finance, and healthcare all across the country. Indian employees aren't just sitting around waiting for some distant sci-fi AI future. That future is already happening inside Indian workplaces, right now, today. But here's the catch. This massive scale of adoption leads us directly into our core problem. Okay, so here's our roadmap for this explainer. First, we'll cover the AI ownership paradox. Then, we'll define true AI sovereignty. Third, building AI for India. Fourth, the new AI workforce. And finally, we'll map out the business transformation roadmap. Section 1. The AI ownership paradox. Adoption is absolutely not ownership. This is honestly the most critical concept to grasp because it exposes the hidden danger of building your business around external AI. Imagine a company builds its entire customer support and analytics infrastructure around an external AI model, right? Everything works beautifully until one day the pricing changes or the API policy shift. The digital middleman suddenly changes the rules, or worse, sudden geopolitical restrictions block access entirely. Poof, the model just vanishes. Suddenly, that company's entire AI strategy has been dictated by someone else's strategic decision. That is the fundamental vulnerability of simply using AI. On the flip side, owning AI brings strategic control, internal governance, and predictable access. You dictate the terms. You're in the driver's seat. Moving on to Section 2, defining true AI sovereignty, going from consumers to creators. Now, sovereign AI is quite the buzzword right now, but it's often totally misunderstood. It doesn't mean a country has to build absolutely every single piece of technology from scratch. It's fundamentally about strategic control. To understand that control, you've got to look at these four critical layers: data, training, model, and infrastructure. It's like a giant chain. If you control your data but not the model, your independence is pretty limited. If you control the application but someone else controls the underlying infrastructure, you're still vulnerable. True strategic capability means knowing exactly what data went in, how the model was trained, how it can be governed, and where the infrastructure physically sits. Lacking control over even one of those layers severely limits an organization's or even a nation's AI independence. For India, achieving this sovereignty requires a real evolutionary leap. Historically, India's incredible strength has been in engineering, IT services, and global delivery. We have been absolute masters of implementation, but AI kind of changes the global equation. India has millions of engineers, enormous amounts of data, and world-class talent. The required shift now is moving from being a consumer of AI to an implementer, then to a builder, and ultimately an owner. Converting talent from being mere users of infrastructure into true creators of AI intellectual property is India's biggest technological opportunity of the decade. And frankly, it's the exact same shift your own business needs to make to survive. Which brings us to Section 3, building AI for India. We've got to talk about language and data realities. Listen, if we're going to be builders, we can't just copy and paste global models. The multilingual challenge here is absolutely massive, because Indian languages are not just English with different words. They possess incredibly complex linguistic structures. Tokenization, which is basically how AI breaks down words into readable chunks, is so much harder for complex Indian scripts. Here's a really surprising fact. Because of this complexity, it can actually cost up to 4 times more in inference costs just to process a prompt in Hindi compared to English. No way, right? Plus, high-quality training data is scarce, and capturing the correct cultural context is incredibly difficult for an imported English-centric model. Building AI for India requires models designed specifically for Indian realities. And it's not even just about language, it's about the data itself. A really crucial concept here is data provenance. Because in the world of AI, more data does not automatically mean better AI. Data quality absolutely beats data quantity every single time. Can you identify where your data came from? Can you verify its collection methods, its quality, and your actual legal right to use it? The future of enterprise AI isn't just asking, hey, how powerful is your model? It's asking, can you actually trust your model? All right, Section 4, the new AI workforce, automation versus transformation. We've talked a lot about the tech, but we really have to shift focus to the human element. There is so much anxiety right now about AI automating jobs, but we need to completely reframe this into a conversation about task transformation. The old debate constantly asks, will AI replace teachers? Will it replace lawyers? Will it replace me? That is the old fear of humans versus AI. But routine, document-heavy tasks are what get automated, not human judgment, empathy, negotiation, and leadership. The future workplace isn't humans versus AI. It's humans leveraging AI, outcompeting humans who do not use AI. That is a massive distinction. Let's bring this down to the micro level in Section 5, the Business Transformation Roadmap, looking at the TechHans methodology. So, how do organizations actually adapt to all of this? Well, we can look at the methodology developed by TechHans AI Consulting as a really solid objective blueprint. Organizations usually make a massive mistake right out of the gate. They ask, where can we use AI? Actually, scratch that. It's totally the wrong question. Businesses have to stop looking for places to just shove technology and instead ask, what actual business problem are we solving? What data do we actually own? What AI capability do we truly need? And what layers must we strategically control? To move organizations away from just sort of playing around with AI into full-scale governed business transformation, TechHands structures its approach across 4 objective pillars. First, AI consulting, defining the strategy, checking readiness, and making those crucial build versus buy decisions. Second, AI analytics, converting raw organizational data into actual intelligence and decisions that drive revenue. Third, AI automation, upgrading those tedious manual workflows into AI-powered processes, like intelligent document processing. And finally, the AI Academy. Because let's face it, technology changes a lot faster than people do, so continuous skilling across your entire workforce is absolutely mandatory. But wait, before you invest a single dime, there are 7 comprehensive things you must assess. First, is your technology architecture right? 2, are your processes even AI ready? 3, is your data clean and governed? 4, what's your current AI maturity? 5, do your people actually have the skills? 6, will this genuinely improve the customer experience? And 7, which specific processes should humans do, which should AI do, and where exactly must they collaborate? Seriously, you cannot skip these steps. So the big takeaway we're left with is this. India is absolutely not behind in adopting AI, but the race right now is entirely about capability, infrastructure, and ownership. Whether you're looking at national sovereignty or just the future of a single company, the lesson is exactly the same. AI is not just a technology shift, it is a fundamental business operating model shift. The organizations that understand this early, the ones who focus on solving real problems rather than just playing with shiny new tools, are the ones who are going to own the AI-first economy. So the question I want to leave you with today is, are you truly transforming your business for this new reality, or are you just adopting someone else's? Thank you so much for joining me on this explainer. I really hope this helped you see the whole AI landscape in a brand new light.